If you guys are looking for any cheap and reliable coins, check out MMOPO.com. Use the code PINGU at checkout to get 8% off. Guys, welcome to episode number 10 of the Next Gen Bolton career mode, and as you can see, I've accidentally got into transfer negotiations before I pressed the record button. Basically, I was just adding people to the shortlist, just having a look and seeing what we had basically, and somehow I didn't even expect it to happen. I went into a loan for Bobby Duncan, and it worked. So I'm a little bit amazed, and yeah, he recently joined Derby in the summer, which meant we couldn't get him then, but now we're in January, obviously. I'm going to look to do a loan with an option to buy, because obviously he's only 61 rated, so he shouldn't cost us that much. However, Derby are only interested in a loan, which is a little bit frustrating, because obviously it would have been nice to make him permanent. But what we can do is loan him, and then purchase him once he's on loan anyway. Basically, the loan with the option to buy it's a guaranteed fee. It's almost like a release clause, basically. We can pay that amount whenever we want in the loan. Whereas if we do a loan, it's only going to be a short-term loan until the end of the season. But yeah, basically we can sign him at any point during the loan, and you know, if we enjoy using him, then we can always yeah, I think it's a good little loan player to bring into the club if we can get that 55 to 45. Just trying to get as best deal as possible for us, but I think we're going to have to pay at least 60%, and there we go. Potentially signing Bobby Duncan on loan as our first signing. Completely, I don't know, just had a bit of a mare and went straight into negotiations without even thinking. But yeah, he's got decent pace at 72 acceleration, of course, and as he is 19 years old and a really good potential, it's one that I'm really disappointed I didn't get to develop more in the Derby career mode. So that's why I was having a look at him. We do have Semenyo here as well, from Bristol City. The thing is with Semenyo is he actually starts for Bristol City, so it's, I don't know, he's a great option because he can play anywhere in the front three. But I'll get the scout report back. As you can see, it's going to be a 3.3 million release clause. I just see him a bit more of a League One signing, maybe even Championship, to be frankly honest. But yeah, we've got a number of players here on the short list. Obviously, I'm just going to wait and see whether we get Bobby Duncan. But all in all, you know, we've got a lot of options here to potentially bring into the club. You know, ideally, I don't want to be spending more than 500k on a player, just because obviously we don't have the money to sign more than, you know, 2 players if that's the case. So you know, I'm looking at maybe like a 500k worth of player, or we just sign £1 million player. And then look to loan the rest. That's the other thing we could potentially do. So yeah, now we are in the January transfer window, it just means hopefully we get some offers for some of the deadwood in the club, and we can kind of thin the squad out and basically have what we need. As I said, you know, I'm going to look to sell Taft, Baptiste, Tut, Delafanaso, Miller, and Doyle. I think they're all the ones that we're looking to sell. Maybe 1 or 2 others. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the youth players as well. Yeah, in terms of improving the team, I'm not 100% sure what we actually need. It's one of those where obviously there are improvements to be made. It's just a question of where we choose to do. And I do quite like Darcy at Cam. You know, I think that's one thing that I did find in the last episode. He was really productive in that position, and hopefully can grow in ratings. Obviously, he's only a rating lower than Zakowski, so it's not the most unrealistic to put him into the first team, but unfortunately, Bobby Duncan has turned down the loan, and that does seem to be a common occurrence. You know, a lot of loans I've looked to do, I don't know if it's because I'm on strict transfers, they just basically decline. Youth scout report here then, from Nigeria. I think, to be honest, I'm going to just reject this guy now. We've scouted him for 3 months and he just doesn't look good at all. However, this Wisdom Bassi guy looks really, really good. 6'3", with a 70 to 93 potential. I think that's very good indeed, and we will sign him up. And yeah, we may as well sign both of them up, to be frankly honest. Obviously, they should both help us in generating money. And if we just go over to the youth academy, as you can see, Bassi is 50 rated with a 70 to 93 potential, which I think gets us about 400,000. You know, it's a nice amount of money for not a lot of work, and I think that's the only real way we are going to make money until we develop, some of these younger players that we have brought into the club, like a Sesso and Cambo or a Zukowski, Buchanan or something like that. And yeah, I don't know. I think all in all, pretty much anyone's for sale. If we do get an offer from a club in a higher division, I will accept, because obviously that's how it works in real life, and you know, realistically, we've got to make this career mode as good as possible. So if we just head over to the transfer hub, as you can see, we've got about 7,000, so we can basically sign 2 players for about 400k, give or take, which doesn't give us the best amount of movability basically in the market, but I think there are definitely options that we can look into for maybe just a short-term thing. You know, Paul Coots till the end of the season wouldn't be the worst shout in the world. So another thing that I've just kind of remembered is that we could potentially just look to sign players for next season on pre-contracts. That's definitely, you know, in terms of financial position of the club, like, we don't exactly need anything for this season with the current squad that we do have. I don't know if investing in like 34 and 35 year olds is the correct answer either, but my point is that we could definitely sign players for next season. One thing I do want to check, I don't think it'll work, but it would be absolutely lovely if I could get Chris Martin. Oh, it's too short. Can I buy him then? See, this is annoying. The player's expiring at the end of the year, but I can't sign him on a loan or a permanent because of the strict transfers, which is a little bit frustrating, but maybe I'd look to get him once we leave the January transfer window. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, what I was saying is, we don't exactly need anything for this season, and whatever we do need for this season, we could always just bring it on a loan. So maybe looking at some pre-contracts for players for next season might be a shout. You know, I actually quite like Colin Kazim-Richards. I've been using him on Ultimate Team to do some objectives, and because of his like 93 strength and basically being a target man, which is kind of what you need in this system, and why we signed Cal Lafferty. You know, he's got strength and heading, and that's all I really wanted for that position. And he did score a goal in the last episode, I believe, with his head, exactly what I wanted him to do. But yeah, he's only got 67 heading accuracy, whereas Kazim-Richards has got 80. Yeah, obviously I don't want to just sign Derby players because that'll make it quite boring for you guys. But yeah, basically, what we can look to do is just sign pre-contracts for next season, and that way, you know, we kind of get more for our money, because you don't have to pay a transfer fee. Basically, that's the wonders of doing the pre-contracts. The only thing is, obviously, a lot of the clubs, if you go on FIFA and search up players expired in 2021, a lot of the clubs have the intelligence now to kind of renew the contracts. So I haven't found an example yet, but there definitely are examples where I think this Marcus Maddison's definitely expiring at the end of the year, but the club has extended it anyway. But yeah, just let me know in the comment section down below if there are any players that you do want me to get on pre-contracts. I'll add them to the shortlist and have a look and see. And you know, I think in terms of finances, it's a very smart way to save some money. So yeah, let's go into the next game against Crewe Alexandra. You know, a decent team in League One. Obviously, we did sign their goalkeeper, so it'll be interesting to see. I've got Richards in goal, Kirk, very good winger. Somebody could actually look at, and Perry and G at right back. Let me just add those to the shortlist now, because somebody did actually suggest those quite a few episodes ago, actually, it was. But basically, I don't want to sign players from divisions above most of the time, because it's just kind of unrealistic. But yeah, we'll add Kirk and Perry and G. Might need to see how he is. Right back, very good indeed. And yeah, we'll have a look and see what kind of price they've got. So one player that I just thought of off the top of my head and knew that was expiring in a year's time was Richard Keough. Obviously used to be captain of Derby, and yeah, the club sacked him, which honestly, that whole situation was ridiculous. But yeah, I think because he's playing for League One and we're realistically either going to be, you know, realistically we're going to be promoted, I am going to approach to sign him because he's going to be on cheaper wages than Curtis Davis. And he's going to be just as good as a player, so I think this is kind of a no-brainer for next season. I'll give him a important role. Obviously, centre-back is an area we could do with a little bit better quality, and I think you know, Richard Keough, you really can't complain with. Either give him the year. Yeah, I think I'll give him the year, because obviously at the end of next season, potentially we might be promoted to the Championship, so I'll go for the 1 year contract for him. In terms of wages, as you can see, he's only on 4k a week, which is actually cheaper than some of our bigger players at the club. Like Doyle, for example, is on like 5k a week. So I think if we can get it down to that, we still, you know, we've got a lot of money left at 700,000, and there we go at 3.7k. I think it's kind of a no-brainer, just getting some pre-contracts for next season, because I'm kind of happy with the squad at the minute, and obviously what I can do is just develop these players, because I haven't played that much of the game. Like, I've simulated a few games as well, and I don't know what my best 11 is yet. So yeah, we're going to go into the next game now against Crewe in the FA Cup. Obviously, if we do win this game, we can potentially get some money, which would be great. As you see, Darcy has scored 4 goals in his last 3 games, so definitely does deserve starting the games. And yeah, hopefully he can continue his form, and since he is only 19, he should grow plenty of ratings, and yeah, we can either keep developing him in League One, or, you know, sell him at the end of the season to like a Championship team. Just looking at the Crewe team then, they do have, that's not Lundstrom from, that can't be the Lundstrom from Sheffield United surely, but they do have obviously Charlie Kirk and Perry and G, very good players for them. Finney's quite good as well, Chris Porter, former Derby striker, and yeah, it's a good League One team. Obviously Richards in goal, should be Jaskalainen, but I kind of broke the rules a little bit with the realistic signings just to sign Jaskalainen, because basically his dad used to play for the club, and the keeper just wasn't going to get enough on that to save it, and they do kick off the scoreline there in the 16th minute. You know, kind of lucky with the block from Delaney, and then just slips it back to him, and yeah, it does get the first goal of the game for Oliver Finney, and hopefully we can rebound and get the goal to make it 1-1, and, you know, ideally I want to get through to the next round, but on the other side, we are outside of the playoffs at the minute, and kind of do need to focus a bit on the league. Chance here for Crawford through the middle with the shot now into the back of the net, and that was a really good goal from the midfielder, and yeah, we do quickly reply after conceding that first goal about 10 minutes ago, and yeah, I don't know, it's one of those games where I can feel either team winning it, and we'll have to wait and see how it does go. Chance here for Keough. Can he pull it back to Politic? Nice back heel with the shot now into the back of the net, and there we go. We go into the lead with Politic off the bench, and yeah, we do need to ideally win this game to get that extra money to hopefully get us an extra signing. Obviously, either pre-contract for next season or a potential loan, or maybe even a permanent if we're really lucky. But the problem is, like, ideally, I think a permanent would cost us about $1 million, which is about all of our money. So I'd much rather sign, you know, a lot of signings than just one signing, basically. Yeah, we'll see what the scout reports come back with, and maybe there is something we can look at. Chance to have the overlap through for Isgrove. Obviously, just getting that extra goal gives us the cushion, and there's Isgrove with the goal to get us into a 3-1 advantage. And yeah, hopefully with 15 minutes to go, we have got this win. And I must say, going to the 4-2-3-1, it makes the game so much easier. Like, it is a bit ridiculous how much formation kind of leads to results. You know, when we played at the 5 at the back, I could literally do nothing, but now obviously we've got the players up to match sharpness, and they've grown in stats and stuff like that, but the formation is 100% a factor of why we're doing so well at the minute. Then we go full time against Crewe. We do win the game 3-1 and advance to the 4th round of the FA Cup, and yeah, hopefully I'd kind of hope in a way we get a big team, because then we can have a good test and see how we do against, like, maybe a Premier League team. Have accidentally, I don't know if there's any difference between doing the post-match interviews and not. I think it just, I don't know, it kind of neutralises the team morale, in my opinion. Like, you'll obviously get the morale up, but I don't think it increases it by that much to make it worthwhile. Transfer here for Ewan Cohen. He's actually one of our better players in terms of the youth academies. You know, he's worth about 780,000. If we can get that amount of money, what we could always do is sell Cohen and then bring in another winger in this window, and that might be you know, maybe just looking for a left winger that can actually has a left foot basically. So we'll go up to the 780,000, and there we go. And that, you know, in my opinion, I'd much rather sign somebody real and sell the youth academy players basically. So yeah, that's what I'm looking to do there. We have got a loan with an option to buy here. If I can just get a loan, hopefully, yeah, a 1 year loan, we'll go for that. And yeah, I don't really like the options to buy from the computer, because it's kind of, I don't know, you don't really know whether they're going to do it or not. And obviously I'd like the option, if the player grows by a lot of stats, to keep them. So they've gone for a 2 year loan for Graham, which is good to see, so I'll accept that. Keough has been sold, it's given us an extra $500,000. And yeah, Keough does want to play the next game against Forest Green. But before we do that, because obviously now we have sold Keough, we probably need another attacking midfielder who can, you know, either play cam or obviously down the middle or out wide. So yeah, we do have Della Finessi, so it's not the end of the world if we don't get one of those players. But I think for this window, looking at a cam or a winger is probably the best thing that we can do. So if we just sort these by position, then we can just look at all the attackers that we do have. Obviously, we did look to loan like Ovin Appiah at the start of the season. Whether we can do that now, I'm not too sure. We've also got Kirby. I do wonder if we could get this French guy on loan now. No, unfortunately not. That was kind of my hope. We do have Craig Noon here, who's actually not that bad. He hasn't got the greatest of sprint speed, but very good acceleration, agility and balance, and obviously technically very good indeed. He's 33, of course, so I do kind of want to, you know, I like the idea of mixing the signings. I don't want to just sign youth players. I do want to get a few older players in just to make it a little bit more interesting in terms of rotating the squad and all that stuff. Yeah, in terms of either a cam or a winger, it's one of those positions where, you know, I do like the idea of Carl McAllister just because of his wages. I don't know if we could, no, we can't loan him either. Yeah, he's really good. Like I didn't realise he was this good, especially for like a League 1 or a League 2 team. We do have Dembele here from Celtic. Unfortunately, it cost us a little bit too much unless we can get him on a loan. No, unfortunately not. And that's about it really. We don't really have, you know, we have players here, but it's a question of do they want to join us, and you know, that trying to keep it realistic at the same time. Semenyo or Charlie Kirk are probably the ones I'll look at, and we'll obviously get those scout reports back in the next couple of days. So yeah, we'll see what kind of rating and stats they've got. So yeah, let's get into the game against Forest Green. They are just below us in the table by 3 points, and a win will put us within 4 points of the playoffs. So we kind of need to win this game if we are going to look to get promoted. Keough says he wants to play this game, and I'm kind of tempted to start him. Here we look for a rainy game against Forest Green. Hopefully we can get the 3 points and then move within 4 points of the playoffs. And obviously we'll have a look and see who we do have in the next round of the FA Cup. But yeah, looking at their team, as always, don't really know any of them. I think Winchester did well in the last game we did play against Forest Green, so we'll have to keep an eye out for him. But yeah, now we're playing this 4-2-3 and I kind of feel quite confident going into every game. You know, I don't feel like I'm going to lose, and yeah, once we get Politic in for Isgrove, which I could have probably done for this game, because it's kind of an interesting one when you go from like 0 sharpness to back up to 100%. You can either put them straight in and then get that match sharpness quite quickly up, but then obviously they won't be able to play the next game, or you can just slow them back into the team. But I kind of went for the more realistic route, you know, just slowly get them back up to match sharpness, and then we'll eventually get them into the team by the end of January. So yeah, obviously trying to get the ball off the computer is always a joy in the first 10 minutes, and I don't know, I feel like maybe getting Comley into the team might just help us a little bit better defensively. But I think recently I've not really needed to take Sarcevic or Crawford out because they're both brilliant anyway. Transfer for Zakowski does get on it to Back to Sarcevic, into Darcy's path. Can he get the goal to make it 1-0? Yes, he can, and that is a lovely little goal from the 3. And yeah, as I was saying at the start of the game, like, I like the way that we're playing at the minute with Sarcevic and Crawford. Not 100% defensive midfielders, but still have the option to come forwards. But yeah, with Darcy at cam, it just, you know, these kind of goals wouldn't have happened in the 4-4-2 basically, because you know, those runs from deep into this space just didn't happen. And yeah, Darcy, like, for saying he's only 60 rated, I'm not 100% sure how, because I don't know how he's only got 48 shooting. That's one thing that's kind of blown my mind. Like 49 finishing, definitely not. Long shots, where's his long shots? 48 as well. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it just feels like his shooting's just a little, I don't know, just kind of wrong, because he's scored about 6 goals now, for a play, you know, 6 goals in the league and then maybe a couple more in the cup. For a player that has got 49 shooting, it just doesn't feel like it is. I don't know, it's just a really, really odd one. Trying to go through the middle. Santos has not dealt with that at all, and it's been a few times now where Santos has done things like that and it's just cost us. And I don't know if we need a centre-back. I know we've got Keough for next season, who will obviously improve a lot. But I don't know if we need somebody like that there. Like, why have you not dealt with that? I do not know. And yeah, they do equalise pretty much immediately. And I think maybe looking at a new centre-back for this window. I don't know what we could look at. Maybe like, I think I know I've got Mark Beavers there. I know he's 31, but I think I quite like signing older players because it's a bit of a challenge, and you know, you can get like a season or 2 out of them, and they won't grow in stats, but there'll be a definite short-term fix. And it kind of keeps it realistic, as someone did say, like, don't just sign players that are under 23, because by the time you get to season 2 or 3, your whole team's going to be like 80 rated, and then there's not going to be really any way of improving. So yeah, it's one of those where just by signing some older players, it does make the career mode a little bit more interesting. Ball down the wing into Ishmael, can cut inside, of course. Just looking for that ball of Isgrove. Does get there. Can he get the finish though? That is the question. Yes, he can. And I must say as well, like, towards the start of the season, Isgrove was missing a lot of really easy chances, and I think since basically Polytech coming back from fitness and being on the bench, he's kind of had that pressure to get some performances, and yeah, he does get the goal to make it 2-1. And I must say, just basically, when you play 4-2-3-1, you've got 4 players to score goals, whereas in 4-4-2, you've got like 2, maybe 3, if you've got like a really good central midfielder or a really good winger, but they don't really get in the action enough. But a 4-2-3-1, you just get all 4 basically in the goal scoring opportunities, so that's why it is a much more effective formation, and that's why we are getting better results. So yeah, we should end off this first half, there we go, with a 2-1 lead against Forest Green. And as I said, if we do win this game, we go up to a 4-point gap between us and the playoffs. The only thing about Darcy is, I don't know what his stamina is. 73 is actually quite decent, so I don't know if it's just because of the cam position being quite an active position. Yeah, I'm going to move Crawford, who does get a +7 there actually, so maybe Crawford at cam might be something I can look at as well. But I will get Conley on, obviously a good defensive midfielder, and move back to the 4-2-3-1. Chance here for Isgrove. Can he get a second goal in the game to make it 3-1? There we go, and that is a lovely goal. And I think I'm going to actually sub off Ishmael for Polytech, because Isgrove at the minute is actually better than Ishmael. You know, if I compare the two, they've got quite similar, you know, stats wise, although Ishmael does have a +10 in shooting. Yeah, I don't know if it's because he used to be a right mid and now we've moved him to left wing. That's the only thing I can really think of. Why he's not, you know, he's been decent but not as good as I thought he would be. But yeah, we get it to 3-1 there, and that should be the 3 points with about 20 minutes to go. Hopefully we can hold on. Oh, that's a good chance for Keough. It's a great head on from Isgrove. How can he run into the box and slip it across for Crawford to make it 4-1 and just help our goal difference? But the goalkeeper Somehow does make a save. Crawford drive it forwards here. Hopefully we can get the 4th goal and just give us a bit more goal difference, of course. It might come down to that at the end of the season, so you've got to take your chances when you can. And yeah, it is very difficult to score at times against the computer, but we have got a good chance here for Keough to make it 4, and there we go. There's the 3-goal advantage, and yeah, I want to say we had a -4 before this game, so hopefully it goes down to -1 now. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the goal difference is looking like, and hopefully it is in the positive. There we go, full time against Forest. We do win the game 4-1 away from home, and yeah, really good result because it kind of puts us within 4 points of the playoffs, and I'm hoping the goal difference looks good as well. We'll have to wait and see in a second though, and I'll also have a look and see who we do have in the next round of the FA Cup. But yeah, as you can see, we do actually have a game in hand as well on Port Vale, although Carlisle do have, basically we've got a game in hand on Port Vale. Our goal difference is up to 9, so if we can win against Harrogate Town next, we'll only be a point off the playoffs, and we're only, what's that, I'm trying to work out the math, 17 points is that, between us and Crawley, which does actually sound quite a bit to be fair, but we're only 7 points off Bradford, where we need to be basically, to get automatic promotion. It's obviously the first 3 teams, which I do quite like, and something I might, you know, it would be kind of nice to see that in the Premier League and the Championship as well, where you see 4 teams relegated, and then you get the, you know, it just mixes up a little bit. We do have an offer here for Crawford. I can't get rid of it. Like, it's, if he was a couple of years older, I'd probably sell him, but I think he's a player that could easily play in the Championship, so there's no reason for us to sell him, and that's why I did reject that offer for him. But yeah, next game is against Harrogate, although, who was that offer from? If that offer was from a team above us, Darmstadt, where are they? Are they in the Bundesliga 1? Because I did make that rule, didn't I? I don't know if Darmstadt are like Bundesliga 1, and then realistically I should have accepted that signing. Or are they in I think, even if they're in Bundesliga 2, it's a better league than League 2, isn't it? So I should have, that's a bit of a slip up for me. I didn't read who the team was, which is a little bit frustrating, because I probably should have sold him, because I did make that rule to make things realistic. But yeah, we do have the next game against Harrogate Town. But before we do that, we have had a couple of... Ooh, Liverpool against Bolton. We do get 150,000 for advancing. And the Liverpool game has been rescheduled. So I assume we're playing Liverpool in the next round. Yeah, there we go. Jesus. Oh dear. Kind of wish this game was on a Tuesday. I'm not going to lie. But, oh, that's a big game. At Anfield as well. Are we going to win that game? Realistically, no. But, yeah, one thing I did notice in that last game is that we could potentially do with maybe a better centre-back. I know we've got Keough coming in for next season. He's a very good defender, you know, 70 to 76 defensive awareness, 68 to 76 sliding. Very good passer of the ball as well. But in terms of options that we do have Tom Flanagan, who's not a bad shout, actually, from Sunderland, of course. And we do have Mark Beavers, former Bolton defender. Does have very good strength indeed. Defensive awareness at 63. What's Flanagan's? Flanagan's got 64, and he's a couple of years younger. I don't know, it's one of those where centre-back is a very... You need exactly the right player for that position. I do like the idea of Beavers just because he used to play for the club. And he is a left-footed centre-back. Although, if I'm going to be replacing him for Santos, it might be a better shout to go for Flanagan. We do have Bogard here, who's a young centre-back. But he isn't going to relocate at this time. And that's the case for a lot of players that we do have as options. And yeah, it's a little bit frustrating when that happens, but I guess it makes it realistic. Yeah, I honestly don't know what we 100% need in this window, so that's why I'm kind of tempted just to sign pre-contracts for next year, because then it, you know, we could get Ricardo Vazte here, He's got about 75 pace, really good finishing and heading accuracy, and he might be a good shout on a pre-contract. I know he's on quite a bit of wages, but 71 rated is a very good amount of money, and obviously did play for Bolton back in the day, but I'll leave him there for the time being. Although I'm kind of tempted to do it now, I'm not going to lie, because we've got Keough in, who's also 34. The only thing is that the pace, that's the only thing. Like, between now and the end of the season, though he has got 80 strength as well. I do like Ricardo Vazte. He used to be quality at Bolton, and he was the other team, West Ham, he used to play for as well. Kind of, I don't know, would he be interested? It's one of those. Let me know. We'll leave it here for the time being in terms of signings, I think. Although I do want to have a see if we can get Flanagan. Or do we get Beavers? Beavers is a slightly higher rated player, but he might go down anyway because of his age. So I'll have a look for Flanagan. I think he's the cheaper anyway of the two. They're about the same price. So yeah, we'll approach to buy. I won't go into the contract negotiations because maybe you guys can suggest some better centre backs, but basically I'll just pretty much, I'll go to about 590, I think. And, you know, we still got 570k to potentially sign players even after this deal. So yeah, hopefully they do accept that. There we go. So yeah, I think I'll leave that there for the time being. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do I sign Flanagan, or do I look to bring in Beavers back, or do I get another centre back altogether? That's just the ones that we had at the club and are realistic. Obviously we've got Keough coming in next season, so I don't want to sign more than one centre back, because the centre backs that we do have are okay. Delaney's still growing, so I don't mind him, but because Santos is like 25, he might still grow a little bit, but he's not going to grow too much. On paper, he looks ridiculously good, but when you play him in game, he does make the occasional mistake, and I don't know if it's just because we're playing ultimate difficulty. They're not, 66 defending. Ideally, I want to get that up towards the 70s, and it doesn't really help that we're playing, 2 centre mids at CDM. Maybe if we put Comley in for either Sarcevic or Crawford, we might get a little bit better of a defence that way. And obviously Comley is quite a bit younger at 25, so yeah, it might be something I'm tempted to look at. Maybe something like that. I think we'll have a look at that in the next episode and see how Comley does. But if not, we might need a CDM. So yeah, let me know some suggestions in terms of attacking midfielders, CDMs, and centre backs. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Make sure you do leave a like if you did, and see you soon. Bye.